We stopped at the Lewis dot structure yesterday, no? I just wanted to share additional information about this. I have sent a slide yesterday on the formation of ions using leads. I gave you an example on lithium, right? Um, if you have reached the part of the module sa day 3, if you have started answering that, I'm not sure if it's day 3 or day 2. There is a question that asks you to write the ion formation. So for the ion formation, for the ion, ayoko na red. So for the ion formation, you just have to write the symbol of the element and its charge symbol plus the charge. Like for example, if you're asked to write, do I have a mic? Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Yes. Okay. So if you're asked to write the ion formation of the, for example, uh, aluminum, aluminum 13. Okay. So, ang ion formation niya is Al3 positive because the charge of aluminum is 3 positive according to the periodic table. So this charge will be seen in the periodic tables. Ibig sabihin, the aluminum has given off or has lost 3 electrons. Another example would be sulfur. So for sulfur, that is 16. Ion formation niya will be sulfur 2 negative or negative 2. Pwede na siyang S negative 2. So that's the charge. Ibig sabihin, si sulfur is naka-receive ng dalawang electrons. That's why it is negative 2. Is it understood? Okay, thank you. What else? Okay, so if we have here an ion formation for aluminum, so ang leads niya, for a neutral aluminum, ang leads niya would be Al, tapos 1, 2, 3. Or pwede ring Al, 1, 2, 3, since it has 3 valence electrons. If we have aluminum, 3 positive, okay? So kung meron tayong aluminum 3 positive, this is an ion already. So etong tatlong to, mawawala. So nawalan siya ng 3 electrons. So wala na siyang dots around the symbol. So that is how you form the leads for ions or for metals. Usually, from group 1A to group 3A, maglulose sila ng electrons. Mawawala yung mga electrons nila. Okay. Na-gets? Okay, next is, so meron na tayo kanina yung metal. Let us have another example. We have selenium. Selenium, a neutral neutral selenium has a Lewis dot structure of Se1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So, meron siyang 6 na valence electrons. So, 6 valence electrons. So, for it to become stable, it will turn into an ion. So, that will become Se2 negative. Since ang charge niya is 2 negative, that's the lower oxidation number. Okay. So, kapag dinraw natin siya using the LEDs, that will become Se1, 2, 3. Mali ako, sorry. So, since this is 2 negative, ibig sabihin, dagdag tayo ng electron. Okay. 2 negative, ibig sabihin magdadagdag tayo ng electron. So, instead of 6, that will become plus 2. Huwag natin isulat. So, 6 valence electrons, magiging plus 2 para maging 8 yung kanyang valence. So, this will become Se 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, tapos dagdag tayo ng dalawang electrons, 7, 8. This is the LEDs of Se2 negative. Kapag positive yung kanyang charge, like this, okay, magbabawas tayo. Bawas ng 3 electrons para maging stable itong si aluminum. But for the negative charges, you have to add electrons. Nagets ba siya ng medyo? If you're asked to do the LEDs, you do the LEDs. Kapag sinabi lang na, wait lang, I'll check the question here. Pag sinabi na show the formation of ions or yung ion formation, you just have to write yung kanyang symbol, then the charge. So if it's either negative or positive. Okay? So I'll just clarify this later on kapag nag-send ako sa messenger. Okay? Well, let us proceed to our topic. Okay. We will be talking about writing chemical formula of ionic compounds. I'm pretty sure you are already familiar with writing the chemical formula. I already discussed this in advance with you last week. So you will get more familiar with this during the discussion. Okay, so this will be the last topic. Hopefully, you would understand this. Okay, so the chemical formula are symbolic representations of substances. So it symbolizes kung ano yung substances, and it makes us easier to write it or to list it. Kasi mas maikli siyang isulat, mas maikli siyang gawin, mas madali actually. Alright, for ionic compound, very evident yung presence ng metal. You cannot call that as an ionic compound if it has no metal. So, lagi kapag may metal, it's ionic. An ionic compound is formed from a cation of a metal and an anion. So, laging may cation tsaka merong anion. So, there are 4 basic steps in writing the chemical formula. Hindi siya banal. For all ionic compounds yan. So for the step 1, write the symbol of the element. So alam na natin yan kung paano isusulat yung symbol ng elements. You always have to write it properly. And when I say properly, you capitalize what should be capitalized. Then you write in small letters if it needs to be in small letters. Okay, step 2, write the charges for each element. Question is, where can you find the charges again? Where can we find the charges for each element? Ito na lang. What is the charge of magnesium? Charge. I'm asking for the charge, not the atomic number. Okay, April, thank you. The charge of magnesium is positive 2 or 2 positive. Where did you find positive 2? Valence, not the valence. Where did you find positive 2? Another question, what is the charge of oxygen? Negative 2. Thank you, Angelica. So you can find it in the periodic table dun sa oxidation states. So if you have the periodic table with you, kung wala, you have to search it in the internet. You can see that in every boxes, yung atomic weight is nasa right-hand corner sa taas, uppermost rightmost corner, nandun si atomic weight or the atomic mass. Below that, you can see the oxidation states. Oxidation states determine the charges of the element, of each element. So for magnesium, the charge is positive 2. For oxygen, the charge is negative 2. Nandun siya sa baba ng atomic weight. Nandun siya sa oxidation states. Okay, you have to be familiar with that. Okay, so dun nyo makikita yung charges. Alright, let us proceed. Okay, so after writing the symbol, you write the charges for each element. Step 3 is crisscross the charges to become subscripts. Then you have to drop the sign kasi hindi naman siya mahalaga. Step 4, reduce to lowest terms and write the final formula. Okay, let us have an example. Okay, let's have lithium chloride. What is lithium chloride? So first step, you have to write the symbol. So the symbol for lithium is Li. For chlorine, you have Cl. So Li and Cl. Remember, you have to write the symbols properly. If it is a single letter, you write a capital letter. Kapag dalawa siya, kapag two yung letters, you have to write it in capital and in small letters. Okay. Next, step 2, you write the charges. Okay. For lithium, its charge is positive 1 or 1 positive. For chlorine, its charge is negative 1 or 1 negative. Ma'am, bakit po? If you're going to look at the periodic table, there are four charges for chlorine. Positive and negative 1, dalawa na yon. Positive 5 and 7. So for what do you call this? For in writing chemical formula, we have to always choose the smaller oxidation number or the smaller charge. So for this, we will be having positive 1 and negative 1. Positive for lithium, negative for chlorine. Next, step 3, crisscross. So itong part na to, ito, dapat mapupunta siya doon sa baba ni chlorine. Ito namang 1 negative na to, pupunta siya sa baba ni lithium. So that will become Li sub 1 and Cl sub 1. So you have to drop the sign. Wala na siyang positive, wala na rin siyang negative. Okay? Nasusundan? Okay, sige. Okay, so once we already have the subscripts, pag nasa taas, we call that as the superscript. Pag nasa baba, we call that as the subscript. So ito, pag meron tayong subscript, we have to write the final formula. So ang kanina nakuha natin is Li sub 1, then Cl sub 1. So since pareho na yung 1, we do not have to write it anymore. So the final formula for lithium chloride is LiCl. So that is how you write the chemical formula. Is it understood? Nagets naman, no? Okay, let's have another example. Let us have calcium fluoride. Okay, so I'm going to give you 2 minutes. 2 minutes lang para mabilis. Write the chemical formula for calcium fluoride following the steps I have discussed a while ago. So write the symbol. First step is the symbol. Second step is the charge. Third is crisscross. 4 is lowest terms final formula. Para madali, I'm going to give you the symbol. So, calcium is Ca, fluorine is F. Do not look at the module kasi mali yung nakalagay sa module. So, gagawin nyo na lang is steps 2 to 4. Reminder in answering the questionnaire sa Google Forms, you have to read the instructions. That's the reason why some of you get low scores kasi you're not reading the instructions. Answer? How about the others? Okay, let's check how you got CaF2. Okay, the charge for calcium is 2 positive. For fluorine, you have 1 negative. Okay, so next step is crisscross. So this 2 positive here will go below fluorine. Tapos ito, pupunta dito. Then we have Ca, then 1, we drop the sign. Then F 2, we still drop the sign. So, of course, hindi na natin susulat si 1. So, we get CaF2. This is the final formula for calcium fluoride. Okay. Gets na? Any questions, anyone? Okay, let us have another example. So, if you're going to see this kind of ionic name in the future, madali na lang siyang isulat, madali na lang para sa inyo. But what if you encounter this? You have iron 3 oxide. So, bakit may 3? As you will notice, iron is not a member of the main elements. When you see main elements, ito yung mga nasa A group. So, iron is a transition metal. Nandun siya sa D block. So, commonly, itong mga nasa D block and sa F block, they have a lot of oxidation number. Marami silang oxidation number. So, this time, ang mangyayari dito, itong 3 na to, this is the charge that we're going to use for the metal. And for this case, the metal here in this compound is iron. So we have Fe 3 positive. Ma'am, bakit positive? Kasi metals are usually cations. So that is Fe3 positive. Naiintindihan bakit siya naging 3 positive? Okay. So again, the Roman numerals will indicate the charge of the metal. And then we have oxygen, so that's oxide. The charge of oxygen is 2 negative. Again, we do the crisscross. Ito punta dyan, ito punta dito. So we have Fe 2. Yung 2 na galing kay oxygen. Then, O 3. Yung 3 na galing kay iron. Then, we reduce it to lowest term. So, since walang lowest terms, we have to write now the final formula, which is Fe2O3. This is iron 3 oxide. Nagets? Okay. So, nagets nyo naman. You try this. You have, sorry, malito. This will be tin 2 oxide. Right, yan. Tin 2 oxide. Yan. You write the chemical formula for tin 2 oxide. Tin is SN. Oxygen is O. Answer? How about the others? Okay, sige, let's try this. Okay, so the symbol for tin is SN, oxygen is O. Charge for SN, dahil 2 ito, this will be 2 positive. Ito, punta dyan. Then, the charge of oxygen is 2 negative. Then, crisscross. Okay, then we have SN2. SN2, that's from oxygen. Then, O sub 2, that's from SN. Okay, so since we have both 2 here, we cancel this out. This will be equal, this will become 1. Naka lowest terms na siya. Okay, so since it is 1 already, we do not have to write it anymore. So we get SNO. This is the chemical formula for tin 2 oxide. Okay, is it understood? Okay, let us have the next one. We have lead 4 carbonate. Okay, lead here is Pb. Okay, so the charge of lead is 4 positive. Kasi ito yan 4. Right? Then we have carbonate. Now, what is the symbol for carbonate? Ang alam lang natin carbon. But what is carbonate? Any idea? No idea. Okay, so carbonate is a compound. Hindi siya element. Hindi siya symbol. In the periodic table, if you have your periodic tables with you, may table dyan, which is ions and charges. If you want to take a look at that, nandyan, it's either at the bottom or at the side of the periodic table. So then you just have to look for carbonate. Itong mga compounds na to, meron na siyang given na charges dun sa table. So now, what is the symbol for carbonate? Hanap. Ano symbol ni carbonate? Nakita na? CO? Carbon monoxide yan. Okay, so that is CO3. So the symbol for carbonate is CO3. Ibig sabihin, isang carbon, tatlong oxygen. And the charge of carbonate is 2 negative or negative 2. Naiintindihan? Nagigets ako? So carbonate is CO3, then the negative 2 is the charge. Okay, same process tayo, crisscross. Then that will become PB sub 2, then CO3. Okay, so since this is CO3, meron na siyang subscript at maglalagay pa kayo ng panibagong subscript, we have to enclose this in a parenthesis. Then we write 4 here. Nasusundan, okay. So you have to enclose that in a parenthesis, lalo na kung meron pa siyang another subscript na ilalagay. So this will become, so again, you reduce it to lowest terms. This will be 1, this will be 2. So we write this as PB parenthesis CO3 2. This is lead 4 carbonate. Lead 4 carbonate. Okay, nagets? Actually, pwede nyo lagay na to dito. Pwede nyo na siyang lagyan ng parenthesis sa umpisa pa lang. Okay. So this time, dahil hindi na natin to i-distribute ha, not unlike math. Di ba? May ano ka sa labas, i-distribute pa. But this time, hindi. Nasa labas lang talaga si 2. Hindi nyo na siya gagalawin doon. Ibig sabihin, there are 2 molecules of carbonate in that, or there are 4 molecules of carbonate in lead 4 carbonate. Okay. Another example, we have copper 2 sulfide. I'll do this, tapos bigyan ko an example after. For for copper 2 sulfide, so copper is Cu, sulfide from the periodic table that is SO3. Am I right? Yeah, SO3. So charge ni copper is 2 positive. So kasi 2 yung nandito. Then sulfate will be, parenthesis natin, this 2 negative. According pa din sa periodic table. Okay, then crisscross. Crisscross tayo. Ito punta sa baba ni sulfite. Ito baba ni copper. This will become Cu sub 2, then sulfite, parenthesis pa din, sub 2. Then we cancel the 2 kasi pareho naman sila. That will become 1. So the final answer will be CuSO3. Ma'am, hindi niyo na po ba lalagyan ng parenthesis? Hindi na lalagyan ng parenthesis kasi hindi naman na natin sinulat yung 1. So, pwede rin naman nakaganyan, pero pwede siyang, ano na lang, pwede siyang CuSO3, just simple as this. Lalagyan niyo lang siya, the parenthesis is just needed kapag meron tayong subscript sa labas. Okay? Nagets ba ako? Okay, you try this. Ay, wala na. Teka lang. Ay, ba't ko nabura yun? Let's try um, potassium permanganate. Okay, you try potassium permanganate. How do you write this? Or how do you write its chemical formula? So, potassium, wala na siyang Roman numeral kasi nandun lang naman siya sa A group. So, it's very easy. Hanapin niyo na lang si permanganate dun sa tables ng ions and charges. Answers? Nakamute ako, sorry. Ayun, so K has positive 1 na charge, si permanganate ay may negative 1 na charge din. So then we crisscross both, naka-parenthesis pa rin si permanganate. Then, ayun, hindi na natin sinulat si 1 since 1 lang naman siya. So the chemical formula for potassium permanganate is KMnO4. Okay, if you got the same answer, then you did it right. Tama ginawa nyo. And kapag hindi na-gets, you can just ask questions sa GC so I can answer for everybody. Okay? So, na-gets naman siguro, no? Na-gets nyo naman. Kung walang questions, you can now leave the Google Meet. Then I'll send in the discussion a little after. Okay. So, I'll see you next week on Monday. On Tuesday. Goodbye, everybody.